Hello dear students, nice to see you back. A warm welcome to you to my class. This video is regarding Unit 5, that is trading in commodity markets. Earlier I had prepared one more video, that is Unit 4, commodity markets. So I hope you have gone through that video. If at all you have gone through that video, you won't be finding any difficulty in understanding the entire video that we will be discussing it today. In Unit 4, we discussed definition and meaning of commodities, history of commodity markets, types of commodities, governing body, which is nothing but Forward Market Commission, and membership in commodity exchanges, types of membership. We also discussed types of membership such as ordinary member, trading cum clearing member, institutional clearing member, designated clearing bank. Then we discussed a process of membership, types of transaction that the commodity market deal with, like spot market and derivative market. And we also discussed in derivative market such as forward market, forward contracts, future contracts, options. Also we discussed types of participants in commodity market such as hedgers, speculators, and arbitrators. This is what we discussed in our previous video. And if at all you have any doubt, I had asked you to mail. Some of you had contacted me through mail and some of them had WhatsApp me. I feel really happy for my students who turn up with the doubts, and hope the same amount of attention will be paid to this video as well. And if at all you have any doubts, again you can write to me, or you can ping me through WhatsApp. In this video we shall try to understand, in this class we shall try to understand what is trading and how trading takes place in commodity market. Now let's say what is commodity trading. Now commodity trading in India cannot be done by a common public. So no common public is allowed to enter into a commodity exchange, nor allowed to trade the commodities in the commodity exchange. Now if the commodity has to be traded, it can be done only by the members of the commodity exchange. Now in the previous video, that is in Unit 4 video, we discussed types of membership. We saw ordinary member, trading cum clearing member, institutional clearing member, designated clearing banks. Only they are authorized to do trading on behalf of their clients. So clients are not directly allowed to trade. On behalf of the clients, it is the members or the broker traders, or we would call it as a broker member or a trader member. They are allowed to do trade on behalf of their clients. Now, who is a broker member? Broker member is a person who does trade on his own behalf, as well as he does trade on behalf of his clients. Which means if at all he feels like buying any commodity, he will buy and sell on behalf of himself. That is, for himself, he do the business for himself. First priority he gives for himself. Then the second priority, if client has ordered something, again he shall involve in trading on behalf of their clients, which means he shall try to do business on his own behalf. At the same time, he shall do the brokerage business on behalf of his client. Who is a trader member? Trader member is a person who does trade only on his client's behalf. He is not at all entitled to do trade on his own behalf. That is the difference between broker member and a trader member. In broker member, broker is entitled to do brokerage business on his own behalf as well as on behalf of their client. That is what we saw now, isn't it? Whereas in case of a trader member is allowed to do trade only on behalf of his client, which means he is not entitled to buy or sell on his own behalf. Next, what is commodity brokerage? Commodity brokerage can be a commodity broker can be a firm or an individual. This is what we discussed in Unit 4. That is the previous video we discussed. Who can become a who can apply for a membership, or who can become a member of commodity exchange. Any individual or a proprietary firm can become a commodity broker. A registered partnership firm can become a commodity broker. A Hindu undivided family can become a commodity broker. A private limited company can become a commodity broker. A public limited company can become a commodity broker. Cooperative society can become a commodity broker. Okay, any of these entities, individuals or entities, can become a commodity broker, unless and until if they are not lunatic, if they are not bankruptcy, if they are not foreign alien, and if they are not a foreign ambassador. and they should not be minor. If all these conditions are not to be fulfilled, that means they should not be lunatic, they should not be foreign alien enemy, they should not be a foreign ambassador, they should not be bankruptcy, and at the same time they should not be a minor. In apart from these cases, anybody else, either it can be entity or either it can be an individual, anybody else is entitled to apply for membership, and if they are eligible, the commodity exchange will provide them the membership. They are free to choose any membership. They can choose to be a broker, they can choose to be a trader, they can choose to be a trader come clearing house. It is left to the choice of the applicant. Also, we discussed process of membership. First, an application form has to be submitted to the commodity exchange. Then they process the application form. Then they will be called. The applicant will be called for an interview. After interview has been cleared, then a unique membership code will be given. All these things we discussed in the previous video. Hope if you have seen that video, you will understand the concept that we are discussing now. Now let's see who are the participants of commodity market. Basically, the participants will be none other than the farmers, exporters, importers, traders, the middlemen, the agents, distributors. These are the people who shall be participants of commodity markets. Next, mention two constituents of commodity market. There are only two constituents, that is spot market and derivative market, which we shall be discussing in detail in this video. We have already discussed in detail what is derivative market. We have discussed various types of derivatives. To remind you, types of derivatives: forward contract, future contracts, options. In options we discussed put option and call option. Remember what is derivative. Also we discussed, also I would like to remind you the definition. Derivative is an instrument which has derived its value from an underlying asset. So please do remember the concepts which we have discussed earlier, because patching up both the videos is very much important, and that shall help you to understand the topics better. Next, mention the different types of commodity market settlements. There are only two types of settlements. One is the daily settlement and second one is the spot settlement, and that too we shall be discussing in detail in this video. Okay, dear students, now we shall see steps for trading in commodity market. The first step is choose a broker. Second step, fill a demat account form. Third step, depositing margin. Fourth step, access to information and a trading planner. Now these are the steps for trading in commodity market. Please do focus here. These are the steps to trade in commodity market. Our subject is stock and commodity market. Of course, stock market is different and commodity market is different. Even in stock market, there is a trading procedure. Trading procedure in stock market. Please don't get confused between stock market trading and commodity market trading. Dear students, in examination, if questions are related to trading, please do read twice and understand whether they are demanding you to write answer on trading in stock market or trading in commodity market. So please do focus, never commit a mistake. After putting much of effort in drafting an answer, and at the end if the answer has no value, then it is of no use. So please read it carefully before answering. Whether it is a trading in stock market or commodity market, please do read and understand. Okay, now let's see in detail what does this first step tells. Choose a broker. The broker you choose should be a FMC recognized member of the commodity exchanges you wish to trade in. There are various commodity exchanges. You can choose any of the commodity exchange for trading purpose. Now, before choosing a commodity exchange, it is very much important to identify a broker. Now, once you identify a broker, that broker should be belonging to that particular commodity exchange, and the broker should have been got his recognition from a FMC, Forward Market Commission, and that particular commodity exchange. If he has not got the recognition, then it is of no point. Then it is of no use you appointing him as a broker. Okay, because he cannot do trade. Now, there shall be many brokers in the market. There shall be n number of brokers you may find in the market, but just like that, randomly you cannot go fix anybody as you cannot pick anybody as a broker. Okay, before you select a broker, you need to do a groundwork. not just a small groundwork, but a large amount of groundwork has to be done. You should understand the competitive edge that is being provided by the broker, whether he is able to compete his own existing other broker members in the market. You should understand what is the amount of knowledge that he has in dealing with commodities and commodity markets, his credibility, experience, net worth, and quality of trading platform that he uses. All these things you should understand before selecting a broker. Okay. Also, we need to understand that forward market commission is a regulatory to commodity market. See, we have a separate regulatory for a commodity market. Okay. Regarding FMC forward market commission, we have discussed in detail, not just forward market commission, but the entire structure outline that has been designed by the government. That is Ministry of Consumer Affairs. We saw forward market commission. Now, whereas coming to stock market, the regulatory is different. SEBI is the regulatory for stock market. Whereas when it comes to commodity market, FMC forward market commission is the regulatory. So you understand there are two different regulatories for two different platforms. So SEBI is for stock market and FMC forward market commission is for commodity market. So this is also one of the difference. So please do keep this in mind before, as I told you, before answering your questions, before answering in your exam. Please do remember, focus. So SEBI is for stock market and FMC is for commodity market. So this itself tells that both the markets are different. Both the markets has different regulatories. Okay. Now let's see step 2. Step 2. Fill a demat account form. Fill a demat account form with the brokerage house, and it is mandatory to provide a PAN card, address proof, passport size photos, to get your demat account functional. Now you might be asking me a question, sir, what is the work for demat account in commodities exchange or in commodity market? Demat account is especially used in stock market. So dematerialization, converting physical shares into electronic form. Yes, we had discussed in class in DMAT. DMAT is nothing but converting physical shares into electronic form. But DMAT is a platform. It is an application. It is a what to tell. It is a tool that helps you to connect with a broker, that helps you to understand the market movement, that helps you to lively see what is happening in the market. So it is acting as an interface. So it's just like you watch a TV live, a live channel is running. For an example, let us take like this: you're watching a football that is happening somewhere across the world. Somewhere across the world, a football tournament is happening, and you sitting at home watching it live. So you are having an interface. What is the interface there? TV is the interface. The channel TV is the interface. Same like that. If at all you want to understand what is the price movement of a particular commodity in one particular region, what is the prices of the same commodity in some other region, when the demand shall increase, when the demand shall get down, what kind of commodity is best to buy now. Okay, to understand all these things, you should be having an interface. This interface is nothing but a demat account, something like a TV, as I told you in an example, something like that. This demat account is an interface. Definitely you are not going to convert any of the commodities like rice, ragi, wheat, any of the commodities you will definitely not convert into electronic form. You never ever can imagine that. Can human being have can human being consume any electrical items? Definitely not possible, right? So students who have wrongly got demat account is only for shares. No, demat account is not only for shares. Demat account is just an interface. It is to interact with the brokers. It is to interact with the buyers. It is to interact with the sellers. It is to interact with the price. It is to interact with the movement of the market. So it is just an interface, just like the TV. It is an interface. So here in this demat account, you are not going to convert any of commodities into electronic form. No, definitely it will not happen. Okay, you will understand it or not? Now, whereas in case of stock market also, see, now I'm about to talk on stock market. There also you are using demat as a platform for trade transaction, but you are not using that as a storage. Depository is used as a storage, not demat account. Demat account is only a platform provided for trading. Whereas if at all you want to store your shares electronically, you shall be storing that one in a depository, isn't it? So don't get confused between demat account and a depository. So demat account is a platform to interact. It's an interface for you, just like a TV, as I told you. Okay, next step 3. Margin is the deposit money that needs to be paid to buy or sell each contract. Now what is contract here? Contract here is nothing but a derivative which we have already discussed in unit 4. One of the derivative, not just the derivative, it is one of the derivative which we have already discussed in unit 4. What is the derivative contract? It is nothing but future contracts. So we discussed forward contracts are that contract which is entered outside the exchange, which means commodity exchange will not at all interfere in forward contracts that is been entered by two people outside the commodity exchange. Whereas if at all two people, that is buyer and seller, if two parties want to enter into a contract within the commodity exchange, it is mandatory for them to enter into a future contracts. And future contracts are monitored by commodity exchange. Future contracts are monitored by FMC, Forward Market Commission. So don't get confused. Forward contracts are entered outside the commodity exchange and future contracts are entered within the commodity exchange. So both buyer and seller, in terms of entering into a contract, if at all they want to enter into a contract, it is mandatory for them to pay some amount as margin. What is that sum amount? That sum amount is nothing but on the total value of the contract ranging from 2% to 15%, they have to pay it as a deposit money. Okay, you mentioned it or not? This is called as depositing margin. Now in this margin there are different types of margin. Initial margin, maintenance margin, additional margin, mark to market margin. Now let's understand what is initial margin. The amount that must be deposited by a customer at the time of entering into a contract is called as initial margin. The margin is mandatory requirement for parties who enter into a contract. See, didn't I tell you? It is mandatory. If at all you want to enter into a contract within the commodity exchange, that is if at all you want to enter into a future contract, it is must and should both buyer and seller have to pay some amount to commodity exchange. That some amount is nothing but 2 to 15% depending upon the total amount of contract that they enter into, and these margins will differ from one commodity exchange to another commodity exchange depending upon their trade traditional practices. Okay, now the initial margin is nothing but at the time of entering into a contract. What do you mean by at the time of entering into a contract? Now let us take for an example, today maybe for example let us take like this, 15th of May 2020, 15th of May 2020, you would like to enter into a contract. Okay, now today you are signing up the contract. Today you are signing up a contract with the seller. Seller wants to sell maybe 2 tons of cotton and you agree to buy. Now whatever is the total worth of the cotton, 2 tons of the cotton, for the 2 tons of the cotton a margin will be fixed depending upon the traditional practices that the commodity exchange follow. It may range from 2% to 15%. Both the buyer also have to pay this margin to the commodity exchange and seller also has to pay the margin to the commodity exchange at the time of entering into a contract. This is called as initial margin. Maintenance margin, it is a margin which is less than initial margin money. If the balance in the initial margin account falls below the maintenance margin, broker received a margin call and is required to deposit extra funds to bring into the initial margin level with a very short period of time. If the balance in the margin account more than the initial margin, a trader can withdraw excess amount. Now what do you understand here? See, maintenance margin is lesser than the initial margin amount, whereas in case of initial margin amount on the total value of the contract ranging between 2% to 15%, you pay it as an initial margin. So whereas coming to maintenance margin, you don't have to pay from 2 to 15%, something less than that you need to pay as a maintenance margin. Now it is like this, I would like to take you to the concept which is famous concept which is there in economics, like what decides price. Always or most of the time the price has been decided by a demand. If demand increases, price also increases, and if demand decreases, the price also decreases. Such is the volatility that happens in the commodity market as well. When demand for one particular commodity increases, then the prices of that particular commodity increases. When demand, if demand falls for a commodity, the prices also fall for that particular commodity. Now let us understand this maintenance margin to the best level that we can. Now if the price is increased, already an initial amount is being paid along with the maintenance margin. If the prices of the commodity is increased, then the value of the contract also will increase, prices of the contract also will increase. In order to maintain or match the margin amount, some additional money, I am also discussing additional margin put together. Okay, some additional money is being deposited in order to improve the initial margin amount. And suppose if the initial amount is already been paid, if margin is already been paid, and after paying, after maybe 2 or 3 days, if the prices of the commodity falls down, now when commodities price falls down, initial amount also may come down. Now whatever excess amount that is there in the initial account, that can be withdrawn by the broker or the member. That is what has been told in the maintenance margin. Now if this maintenance margin is also not sufficient, some more money has to be paid. The prices of that particular commodity is increasing or consistently increasing, then whatever additional amount you pay apart from maintenance margin is called as additional margin. Okay, next. Now mark to market margin is nothing but every day the prices of the commodity will fluctuate. The prices of the commodity will have some volatility. That means there shall be increase in the price and decrease in the price. As I told you, it all depends upon the demand. If demand is more, there shall be price increase. If demand is less, the price will decrease. So at the end of the day, if the prices are increased, the margin is adjusted by paying some more amount. At the end of the day, suppose if the prices are decreased, whatever excess amount of margin is there, that can be withdrawn. So this happens day to day. Everyday adjustments is made. This everyday adjustment is made depending upon the demand for that particular day. That is called as mark to market margin. Okay, everyone understand it or not? The fourth and the last step is access to information and trading plan. The investor should have access to prevailing price on the exchange as well as market information. That means he should not only believe whatever the prices that is been fixed by commodity exchange is final. No, he should always have a comparative study. He should always compare the prices with the market. So he should get the information from commodity exchange as well as from the existing market as well. Brokers also provide some research and analysis to their clients, but these brokers will charge for any informations or client related services that they provide, like consultation or research or analysis. And also there are other sources to get the information, sources like financial dialysis, specialized magazines on commodities and internet. Further, an investor requires a trading plan. Such a trading plan can be developed in consultation with a broker in order to maximize profit and to minimize losses. Traders who intend to trade for a actual delivery of commodity additionally need to open a depository participant account and obtain a sales tax registration at the place where the delivery center of commodity traded is located. So suppose if the broker or a trader want to extend their brokerage services to whichever branch or to whichever place they are extending, to that place also there should be a license received from a depository participant in order to do commodity trade, and not just in headquarters, not just in the place where the broker is doing business, also to the place where the branches of the brokers are functioning. To that particular branches also tax registrations is compulsory. Okay. Still, Unit 5 has not come to an end. I want to divide the entire unit into part 1 video and part 2 video. As of now, this is just part 1 video. I shall come up with part 2 video as well. So if at all you have any doubts, you can write to me at edu.together20@gmail.com. Please do subscribe, and if at all you have my WhatsApp number, you can also WhatsApp me. Hope you understood this video. Then if at all you have not gone through the 4th unit, that is the previous video, please do go through the previous video as well. Maybe within a span of 2-3 days I may come up with part 2 video as well. Thank you.